Alright guys, equations of lines day 2. We're going to take what we did last class and kind of build on it and kind of see a different problem, but very similar. So let's take a look. So before we get into it, let's do a quick review how to find a slope if we give us 2 points. So remember, the equation for slope, or the formula for slope, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So you subtract your x's and subtract your y's. Remember, y's go on top. If it helps you, you can label them x1, y1, x2, y2. So now I'm going to do 6 minus 5 over 3 minus negative 4, which we know 3 minus negative 4 becomes a plus. Okay, so now I have 1 over 7, so our slope would be 1/7. Alright, so remember, here's the steps to put it into slope-intercept form. If it gives you 2 points, so the first thing is what we just did is find the slope. Then we can use that slope in one of the points and plug it into HK. And then we'll distribute, and then we'll combine like terms, which is a lot like what we did last class. So if you ever need to look back, you can go back and look and see where you're at in the steps and say, have I done this yet? So let's go ahead and take a look at an example. Okay, find the equation of the line in slope-intercept form that passes through the points -5, -4, and -1, 0. So it wants us to get it in y equals mx plus b. But the problem is we don't know our slope or our m, and we don't have a y-intercept. So I have to do some work in order to get it into that form. First, I need to find the slope, which we just talked about a couple slides ago, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? So I'm going to do -4, if it helps you, we can write these down as x2, or x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm going to do 0 minus -4 over -1 minus -5. Okay, remember these become pluses since it's 2 negatives. So we have 4 over 4, which gives us a slope of 1. Okay, so our m is 1. Now, I can't plug it into the slope-intercept form yet. I need to plug it into point-slope form, which is y equals mx minus h plus k. So I have y equals, my m was 1, times, so it doesn't matter which point we pick. For this one, I'm going to pick -1, 0 as my point, just because I know 0 is a little bit easier to work with. Remember, the first one is your h, the second one is your k. So when I plug this back in here, I'm going to have x minus -1 plus 0. Okay. Well, which I know that's just going to be a positive 1. So now I just need to distribute. So y equals 1x. 1 times 1 is positive 1. And I have that plus 0, but 1 plus 0 is just 1, so that's my final answer. Hey, it wants in slope-intercept form, so we can just stop right there because that's in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Now, I could have picked the other point. It just kind of depends on which one you pick. Sometimes working with 0 is a little bit easier. Alright, so find the equation of line in slope-intercept form that passes through the points 6, 2, and 2, 0, then it convert to standard form. So it wants us to first get it into slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So very similar to what we just did, but it wants our final answer to be in ax plus by equals c. So let's kind of do it like we did the last one. If it helps you, you can list out your points as x1, y1, and x2, y2. But now let's find the slope. I'm going to do that up here so I have a little bit more space. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So subtract my y's, I get 0 minus 2 over 2 minus 6. Well, 0 minus 2, now be careful, it's 0 minus 2, so that's going to be a -2 over 2 minus 6, which is -4. Which I can reduce. A negative divided by negative is positive, and 2 divided by 4 is just 1 over 2. So make sure you reduce this. It's going to help you out when we go to rewrite our equations. So I'm going to put it into point-slope form, which is y equals m x minus h plus k, just like we just did. Now for this one, I'm going to pick this first point just to show you that it really doesn't matter what point we pick. So y equals our m, which is 1/2, x minus h, remember x is our h term, so minus 6. And then y is k, so plus, well, it's positive 2, so it'll be plus 2. Okay. Now we need to distribute. So y equals 1/2 x. Half of 6 is 3, so minus 3 plus 2. Now I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms, so I have y equals 1/2 x. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. Okay? That's in slope-intercept form, but it wants to be in standard form. So I'm going to kind of come up here. I'm going to change it and go, let's do red. All right, so I have, first thing I need to do is I need to move that 1/2 x over to the other side. So I'm going to have negative 1/2 x plus y equals negative 1. Now I want to get rid of the negative in front and also that fraction. So I'm going to times everything by a negative 2. Remember, we just multiply that by whatever the denominator is. So this cancels this out to just be a positive 1x minus 2y equals negative 2 times negative 1 is a positive 2. Okay? And that is our final answer. So it's a lot like what we did last class. The only thing different is that we have to find the slope first, and then we can use one of the points in that slope to rewrite the equation. All right, go ahead and practice these on your practice problems.